Hello everyone, welcome back to SQL Depository. I am Soros Pandey, and after a long break, I am gonna start a new series of videos on building AI solutions. In this video, I am gonna create a very basic chatbot, but eventually we will build something really good. So without wasting any time, let's start our learning journey together. I have my main Python code here, which is using Gemini AI, which means I need a Gemini API key. So for this, you can go ahead and create a GCP account, and once the account is created, you can go ahead and browse this site aistudio.google.com, click on get API key. Once the API key is created, copy the API key from here, go back to Visual Studio Code and create this file with the name .env. Declare the variable Gemini API key and copy your API key here. Once this is done, go back to the main code, and in the main code at the top you can see I am importing some of the modules. First module is OS, which is part of the main Python installation. So you don't have to download anything additionally for this module. You can check your Python version using the command python -version, and in my case it is python 3.14.0. In your case it could be the latest version or newer version, which is absolutely fine. This is gonna work for you as well. Okay, so once this is done, you can see that other than OS module, I'm also using genai module and load underscore dot env module. So for these modules, I need additional packages. And to download those packages, I've created a requirements.txt file and given the package names here. The package names are google-genai and python-.env. Once you have created this file and given the package names here, what you can do, you can create a virtual environment. To create the virtual environment, you can type python -m venv, and then you can give the virtual environment name, and in my case it is Gemini underscore venv. You can pick any other name. Gemini underscore venv is just a name, so it does not matter what name you want to use, but once you'll hit enter, it will create a virtual environment for you. Once you have the virtual environment created, you will find a folder here with the name that you have used for the virtual environment. Now, as the virtual environment has created, we can go ahead and activate the virtual environment. To do that, we can type the name of the virtual environment, Gemini underscore venv, and then scripts, and then activate. I have already activated the virtual environment, as you can see my virtual environment name here. So I'm not going to do it, but you can go ahead and run this to activate the virtual environment. Now, as the virtual environment has been activated, you can go ahead and download your packages. Now, using the virtual environment is very important. Otherwise, if you will download the packages, it will download in the main package and it may break any of your running Python code. So use the virtual environment and run the code pip install -r requirements.txt, hit enter. I've already done this. I've already downloaded the packages, but if you'll run this, it will download the package in your virtual environment. Once it is done, go back to the main package. Here I have imported the required modules. I've used this function to load the environment variable. As my Gemini API key is here, it is very important to load the environment variable. Otherwise, my Gemini API key will not be available for the main code. Now, as I have the environment loaded, I can use this os.environ.get function with the variable name Gemini API key. It will assign the value of the Gemini API key to this Python variable API underscore key. Now, if you have not created .env file, or you have not given the Gemini API key in the .env file, the API key will contain none, and in that case it will print this message and exit. But if you have done everything, it will move to create this function, which is run underscore chatbot function, which I have created to run the main logic. Now, This function initially printing some of the messages like Gemini Chatbot Initialized, the model name that I'm using, Gemini 2.5 Flash, and then it will print ask me anything or type exit to end the conversation. Then it will print a couple of underscores. After this, it will move to the main try block, and here it is using the client class, which is the class in this module genai, and it is creating an instance of client class using this variable in Python with the name client. Now this client and this client is different. As you can see, the casing is different. The class name has C in capital and the variable name has C in small. This is normal. Normally we follow in Python. So use it in same way, or you can use any other name for the variable if you are not okay with the same name. I have another variable with the name model underscore name, and I'm giving the model name that I'm going to use here, which is Gemini underscore, sorry, hyphen 2.5 hyphen flash in my case. After this, I'm checking for any exception. If there is any exception, it will assign the exception to this variable E, and then it will print this message and the actual exception, and then it will return. But if everything is good, it will go to this while loop, which is always true condition, right? And here it will ask user to give the input. User can ask the question here. Once the user has asked, it will convert the question into the lowercase and it will check if user has given exit or quit as an input. It is a list, and this list contain exit and quit. Once the user input has been converted to lowercase, it will compare and check if the user input exists in this list. If it does exist, then it will type or print chatbot goodbye, and then it will break the loop. But if user has just given enter without typing anything, it will ask again. I'm using this continue here so that it will go back to the loop and then run the same loop again. Now, once this is done, I have another try block to get the response from Gemini. For this, I'm using this client instance class and the attribute models, and then this function which is generate content, and I'm providing the model name. This is the same variable that I've defined earlier, and it has the model name, and then inside the contents I have given the user input as the variable user underscore questions contain the user input. Now after this, I'm checking if response and response dot candidate both has the valid values. It should not have none. If it has none, it will go to the else block and print this message. But if I've got a valid response from Gemini, then it will go inside the if block and write the output from the Gemini AI into this variable named answer. Now don't worry about the candidates. The candidates just contain the various responses from Gemini. Gemini may return a multiple response, but in this case, it will return only one response. If I'll ask explicitly to Gemini to return three response or four response or multiple response, then only it will give me the multiple responses. But for now, just use it. Okay. And I'm getting the text response back. And then after that, I'm printing this Python variable, which has the response from Gemini in the terminal. After this, I'm checking for any exception. If there is any exception, it will type this message and give me the exact exception message. And at the end, I'm using this, which is using a special variable in Python, which is underscore underscore name underscore underscore. Don't worry about it. I'll cover this in next video. But for now, just remember this. If I'm running this Python file directly, this Python code directly, if I'm running python chatbot.py directly, it means it will this special variable will contain this value, and it will go inside the if block. I'll take this in details in the next video. Just for now, remember that if I'm directly running this file, it will go inside this if block. It will have this condition true, and it will run the function run underscore chatbot. So once it will run, I can ask question to Gemini, and Gemini will return the valid response. Let me clear the screen. Oops. And Python chatbot.py. Now I'm expecting this to print some of the messages, and after that it will give me the prompt to ask the question. Okay, so it has already printed the messages. Now I should get the prompt to ask. Yes, I have. I'll ask what is AI. Now I'll get the response from Gemini. It will take some time, but I'll get the response. So right now I've just asked what is AI. It's a simple prompt, so Gemini will just return the response in the text, and I'll get a lengthy response like this. Okay, but if I'll give the specific prompt to Gemini, like let me actually quit from here and clear the screen and then run it again so that the screen will be clear. This time I'll specifically give the prompt to Gemini to give me the brief response. Let's see what exactly Gemini will do in that case. I'm waiting for the prompt to ask the question. Once it is okay, in brief. I am expecting a brief response from Gemini this time like this. Okay, so I did not get a lengthy response this time as I've already asked Gemini to give me the response in brief. Okay, so suppose you are building a tool for any specific purpose where you have to pass the same prompt every time. In that case, you don't have to give the prompt in this way. Rather, you can code your prompt in the main code, and it will be submitted to Gemini every time user will ask any question, and Gemini will answer accordingly. Okay, so this is what I mainly wanted to cover in this lecture. In the next video, I will cover a few of the things that I did not cover in detail in this video, like the candidates, and I will try to use few other AIs like Olama or Open